In this session, we'll know about the enumerate function and how to override the function, and be careful about that. The enumerate function syntax is as following. When you have a range, you can tell it to enumerate. The enumerate will return per step a tuple of two things. The first is an index and the second in a value. So let's see about here the example here. When we say for item in enumerate, you pass for it range. So this is enumerate function, and it is receiving a range of the output of a range function. And let's see here the output. The output is index is 0, 1, 2, and then 5, 6, 7. So remember, before the enumerate, if you just said for item in range 5 to 8, you will print 5 and 6 and 7. But now with the enumerate, the returned item here is actually tuple. The first is an index and the second is the value, and we are just unpacking it here. And given that it's just a tuple, we can even actually unpack it directly here in this nice syntax way. You said for index comma value in enumerate range 5 and 8, then print x and value directly, which will print the same output. So the moral of that is the enumerate function takes something that is sequence style like range and return for you tuple of two things. The first is the index and the second is the value, and this will be very useful in many things. In a very similar way, we know that the string is just sequence of characters, right? So we can enumerate over the string, and the returned now will be the index and value. So for example here it will be 0, 1, 2 for letters A and L and I. So yeah, this is a handy function that will be very useful for us. The second critical thing to know is the overriding, and we already referred to that before. Let's trace this code one step by step. In line 2, the interpreter finds that we are defining some function named sum, takes two parameters, two arguments a and b. Line 5, we are calling the sum of 2 and 3, which will be 5. So far so good. But now in line 9, it finds again define of some function named again sum of 3 parameters, and it just sum them. Now the previous sum will be cancelled, and only now this current sum will be visible. If you try to call sum of 2 and 3, this will give a type error because there is no anymore sum of 2 and 3. You have to call the sum of 2, 3, 5. The example that we learned before was actually about the length function. If you have some len of Mustafa here, it will give you 7. Once you say len equal 1, then now len is referring to a variable. It doesn't refer to the function anymore. So if you try to get len of Mustafa, you will get a type error, and it say that int object isn't callable. What does this mean? It means that this len, which is variable here, isn't callable. You cannot use it to make a function call here. In the future, you can use decorators to still have your function to have more than a parameter or different variable types. But for now, remember, once you use the same name, you lost the previous one. So be careful about that. That's all.